Tonight, an investigation is underway after a secondary school student is found in possession of a gun on the school's compound. A school principal speaks on the trauma of crimes perpetrated against the students. And the government declares a national day of prayer and fasting. A member of the planning committee clarifies what it means for COVID-19 protocols. The details of these stories and more coming up.
This is the Hot 7 Nightly News with Lovelace and Amy Joseph.
Good night. It is Wednesday, the 19th of May, 2021. Welcome to the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. I'm Lovelace St. Amy Joseph. Thank you for joining us. A shocking discovery sent ripples of fear throughout a school compound on Wednesday. Police confirmed that at about 9:50 a.m., the Community Relations Branch was contacted by a school in the north of the island for assistance. A male student was found in possession of a firearm, a pistol, and was taken into police custody. Chief Education Officer in the Ministry of Education, Dr. Fiona Philip-Myers, spoke to the press following the incident.
Appreciate that our students are minors and that everything that needs to be done will be done with the relevant authorities. We remain committed to the health, well-being and safety of all of our staff, our teachers, our school personnel and our students. So we want to appreciate that the general public will want to ensure that the processes that need to happen are happening in a matter and in a manner that seeks to always protect the welfare of children as well as the welfare of all of our staff.
The student is a minor and reportedly in the first form at the secondary school. At least 5 students of the Leon Hess Comprehensive Secondary School have been victims of muggings in the last few weeks. Principal Rohan Lubon says this perennial problem has a significant negative impact on students, leading to lasting trauma. He calls for the resumption of police patrols in the area. Genevieve Gonzague has more in this report.
On Tuesday, 2 students of the Leon Hess Comprehensive Secondary School were victims of robberies. A total of 5 students have been robbed within the last 2 weeks. 3 of these robberies occurred as the students were making their way to school. One of the students from Tuesday's incident received injuries to his face and was robbed of his electronic devices. The principal of the Leon Hess School, Rohan Lubon, says in the past, the police force has collaborated with the school to address the problem. He says the recent incidents make an undeniable case for the recommencement of police patrols. He says the school is doing its part by giving students safety tips, but he says more needs to be done to protect students.
We provide them with the necessary tips, the safety tips, when they are off compound. We ensure that they are aware of what they need to do. We encourage them to take the safer routes from school, that they should not expose their belongings, they should not walk the streets with earphones, because they need to be aware of their surroundings. So we play our part as a district to sensitize and educate our students in terms of how they could keep themselves safe. But when the bandits come out, we have no control over that. They are very smart, they are very cunning. They know exactly where and when to target the students. And yes, the police cannot be everywhere, so I do not want to put any blame on the authorities, but I would just like to encourage them to, just do a little more patrolling.
Student Serena Charles says despite all the information being given to them by their teachers, the possibility of being robbed and assaulted while trying to get to and from school is terrifying.
Walk in numbers, try to take the buses as much as possible. Don't expose your belongings walking down. Put your expensive belongings like your phones and stuff in your bag. I'm actually scared for my safety, scared for my friend's safety, because it's very, it's very heart-wrenching to feel like you're walking from school and you could possibly be hurt or robbed by dangerous people.
Lubon explained that students, particularly those who are victims of the crimes, return to school and are sometimes crippled by fear. He says the schools have put measures in place to assist with the psychological trauma.
As we speak, one of our students ongoing counseling sessions with our school counselor online. And when they return, of course, we try to to basically calm them down and just to prepare them to return back to the classroom. So yes, it can be very, very traumatic, but at the end of the day, we as a school, we look out for our students. We try to put them in the right frame of mind to deal with those circumstances. And as I said, as much as possible, we give them the necessary tips that they need in order to keep themselves safe on the streets.
The school has been liaising with the Marshall Police Station, but the principal is of the view that police presence in the area and at bus stops is what will make a difference in the current spate of robberies. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Genevieve Gonzague.
Thank you, Genevieve. St. Lucians are being encouraged to cover the nation in prayer come the 24th of May, Whit Monday, a national holiday. However, Director of Implementation in the Office of the Prime Minister and member of the Planning Committee for the event is addressing public speculation that the National Day of Prayer and Fasting will mean a change in COVID-19 protocols for that day.
The government of St. Lucia is calling on all St. Lucians at home and abroad to come together in reflection and prayer, and in that regard has declared Monday, May 24th, 2021 as a National Day of Prayer and Fasting from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. This day of national togetherness in spirit is expected to feature participation from all local faith-based organizations with church services, gospel performances, prayer, spoken word and testimonies, and will be carried live via the national television network, partner stations, and through live streaming. Member of the organizing committee, Nancy Charles, explains the rationale behind the planned event.
The Prime Minister, in collaboration with the Cabinet of Ministers, have been deliberating for a while now in terms of what has been happening with our country, what we see happening internationally that is also impacting us, but also looking at having a sense of gratefulness as to where we're at today. And so the Cabinet of Ministers deliberated, and it was agreed that we should have a moment to have St. Lucians to stop, to reflect, and to meditate. Reflecting on where we were and where we're at.
Taking into account social distancing protocols, this virtual platform will encourage full national participation. However, Charles has dispelled notions that COVID protocols have changed due to the National Day of Prayer and Fasting.
The National Day of Prayer has nothing to do with the COVID protocols. Essentially, what we are appealing to is perhaps the inner spirit of every St. Lucian, that they will make that sacrifice on that day and choose not to have the level of social activities that they normally have on a holiday, and they would choose to find themselves in a house of worship, or they may choose to find themselves at home to meditate, to reflect, and to pray. But none of the activities with the National Day of Prayer will be impacting the COVID protocols or the established protocols based on the airside. So there is nothing that prevents somebody, if they wish to open their business establishment, because it's a holiday, it's a normal day. However, we would prefer if persons would make that sacrifice and choose to have a moment of reflection.
The government says it is an opportune time to reflect, pray and fast as all citizens try to navigate the unprecedented times. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Genevieve Gonzague.
You're watching the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. Stay with us. Still to come, COVID cases are climbing. 35 new cases are confirmed. The Ministry of Health clarifies the COVID-19 situation at schools across the island. And the SLP decries what it calls an act of desperation by the UWP. That and more coming up after the break.